So we'll quickly move on to position number 13, and that is going to be Romania. Now, Romania will be represented by Roxen with her song Amnesia. Bit of a change up for sure from Alcohol You. If you haven't heard Amnesia yet, have a listen to a little clip of it now.
Oh, I lost myself trying to have it all. Self-love, amnesia. So worry if it got you, cause you're not alone, not alone. I tried to fight it, but it's getting strong, getting strong, getting strong.
Right, so for me, it's one of those songs like when I listen to it, I really, really enjoy it, and then I'm not listening to it, I tend to just forget about it. And I'm not sure what's not 100% clicking, because like when I listen to it, I'm like, oh, I really enjoy this, but I wouldn't go to listen to it. So there's definitely there's a disconnect there, but it's not a disconnect to the point where I dislike it. I was the same with Alcohol You, so maybe it's just that her music in general doesn't click with me. But it's a perfectly competent song and it's a perfectly good song. And hopefully this gets Romania back in the final. However, I could see this not qualifying, which quite easily, which maybe that, again, that's obviously all we have to base our predictions on is our own personal biases at the moment. And Romania are in a bit of a rut when it comes to qualification at the moment, and maybe this will get them out. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I'm not sure if this is any better than On a Sunday or Goodbye, which NQ. And these songs did not qualify because they were bad songs. They didn't qualify because they were quite middle of the road songs. And I kind of feel like Amnesia kind of is the same, but hey, maybe I'm wrong. And I feel like if it did qualify, I don't know how well it would do in the final. I don't know. I just don't know how memorable this is, especially in a semi-final that's so strong.
I really like Amnesia, but it's a very strong year, and I don't like it enough to back it too strongly. Looking at my personal rankings for each of the individual semis, it's my 9th place of this semi, so it's sort of borderline even for me whether it would qualify or not. I think it could, with the right staging, be very impactful, but I think it really is going to need something very special to make it stand out. I think the song is beautiful. I love the lyrics to it. I like the message to it, and I like how much more grown up and adult it is after Alcohol You. I think it's a very, very touching, very personal song. But I think they're going to need to do something very special to really make it a sure qualifier. I can definitely see this being quite borderline. And I wouldn't place any money on this qualifying. I'd love it to, but I'm not holding out any hope for it.
It's interesting you say that, just because for me, I find Amnesia to be one of Romania's strongest songs in the contest since at least maybe De la Caput. For mostly just for the fact that it tackles a serious message, but in a very mature way. And, we were speaking about it earlier in terms of Norway, like the whole topic of self-esteem and self-love. It can be a very fine line to tread, because you could either fall into this idea of it being, oh, like woe is me kind of thing, or you could do it as a way of like, okay, this is the problem, I'm going to sort it and I'm going to go and sort it out. And I feel like Romania succeeds where Norway fails. I like the song. I think it's definitely a step up from Alcohol You. I wasn't a big fan of Alcohol You. I did think that was incredibly overrated last year. This one, it seems a lot more solid. She seems a lot more confident in herself as a performer as well, which really adds to the song. I will say that the whole aesthetic of her, she's still trying to be that little bit Billie Eilish, mostly I think in the hair and the fact that we can't even see her eyes in most of the music video. I do think it could potentially struggle, but to me, for my own personal preferences, this is a surefire qualifier. Um, I won't say, well, I would put it on the same par as On a Sunday, but the problem with On a Sunday was also my number two in 2019. Um, I think the difference between On a Sunday and Amnesia is that Amnesia is competing in a far stronger year, so its chances are a lot lower than what On a Sunday's was, because On a Sunday, I will admit, it was a somewhat mediocre song in a fairly strong semi-final. So we kind of knew that that wasn't going to happen, but I feel like this could bring Romania back into the final. I'm not entirely sure where, depending on her vocal performance. Like, we haven't actually gotten a live performance from Amnesia yet. I'm hoping that if we get one soon, we can get a bit more of a judgment on where it could potentially go. But based on the studio version and its reception, I think it could get a mid-table, maybe like 15th to 18th place. It could maybe get a little bit higher or lower depending on what it's up against in the final. If it's surrounded by songs, that are really quite strong and heartfelt, like for example, Sweden or oh God, I don't know, like France as well, or the UK, it could easily get swallowed up. It's just a question of waiting till May for me, really. Yeah.